Sengoku Jidai, the age of the country at war. From 1467 to 1603, Japan was a place of turmoil. It was a time of violence and warfare. The daimyos of Japan began wars amongst themselves to determine who would become the sole ruler of Japan. Many innocent people were caught in between these wars. One of these people would become Japan's greatest swordsman. He, out of 60 duels, never lost a single one. His name is Miyamoto Musashi.
Miyamoto's call to adventure begins after he runs away from home. At the age of 8, he was fed up with being physically abused by his father and left. He had nowhere to go, so he went to his uncle's. There, Musashi's uncle became his mentor and taught him the way of the sword. 5 years has passed and Miyamoto is now 13. A wandering swordsman by the name of Arima Kei came into Musashi's village in the province of Harima, offering people the chance to duel with him. Musashi crosses the threshold into the world of violence by accepting the duel. Musashi wins the duel and receives not only his first victory, but his first kill. At such a young age, there would still be many more to come. Now, in his own world of violence, Musashi will face many trials, one after the other. Young Musashi's first trial will be held at the Battle of Sekigahara, one of the bloodiest battles in Japanese history. Musashi wanted to become a samurai. In order to do so, one must either be born into the warrior class, or one must prove himself in battle. Musashi was far from nobility and thus, like many young men, must prove himself in battle. Unfortunately, he joined the losing side. Many men were killed on his side, but Musashi was able to escape the slaughter. Because of this loss, he was not able to gain the recognition he needed to become a samurai. Although he lost his chance to prove himself in battle, he gained valuable knowledge and experience in battle. Using this experience, he began wandering the land, training himself in the use of two swords. At the age of 21, Musashi travels up north to challenge the Yoshioka School of Sword. They were very well known, and they taught the emperor's troops in the use of the sword. He challenged the head of the school, Yoshioka Sejiro. This was Musashi's second trial. Sejiro was well known for his concentration, and Musashi knew exactly how to use this to his advantage. Sejiro accepted, even though Musashi was not yet well known. Musashi got the better of him by arriving late. This broke Sejiro's concentration, and with one slash, Musashi defeated Sejiro. Angered by this, Sejiro's brother, Denshichiro, challenged Musashi for a duel which would be Musashi's third trial. Musashi agreed. Musashi used the same tactic for this duel. Musashi arrived late at the scene once again, and the hot-headed Denshichiro was losing patience. Once Musashi arrived, Denshichiro rushed in to attack. Musashi easily saw Denshichiro's attack and defeated him. The Yoshioka family challenged Musashi to another duel. This time, however, the whole school would join the fight. Musashi knew that it would be an unfair fight, but he could not reject the invitation because of his honor. Musashi accepted and the fight was scheduled. This time, however, Musashi arrived at the site of the scene early. Before the duel, Musashi visited a shrine. He was going to ask the gods for help, but he realized that he had never asked for help before, so why should he now? Instead, Musashi thanked the gods for everything they'd done. This represented a time in Japan where Christianity became frowned upon and many people renounced their religion. Musashi was not religious, but he respected the gods. The Yoshioka school came looking for him, and Musashi popped out and began killing the angry students. This is where he developed his elixir. Musashi's elixir was his two-sword fighting style. He developed it in that battle and discovered its possibilities. It gave him the edge over his opponents. It was the first time his Niten Ryo, or two-sword style, was used in battle. He fought off the entire school and gained a fearsome reputation. He would keep challenging people to duels and perfect his style. On the other side of Japan, another man was gaining renown as the greatest swordsman. This man was named Kojiro. Musashi knew that in order to be the best, he would have to take this man down. He would have to take down Kojiro, the demon of the West. Musashi challenged Kojiro to a duel as his final ordeal. The duel was to be set on a beach. Musashi once again arrived late. Not only did he arrive late, he came unkept, unclean, and had a sword made out of wood. This insulted Kojiro greatly. However, this was not all done just to irritate him. The wooden sword, fashioned out of a wooden oar, was carved slightly longer than the length of a normal blade. This gave Musashi a length advantage. In addition, he arrived late so the sun would set behind him. This would impair Kojiro's vision. Musashi had done it. He had defeated the demon of the West and is now the strongest swordsman in Japan. He is rewarded with renown around Japan and opens his own school in order to pass down his teachings. A festival called Ganryojima is held every year to commemorate the duel. Returning back onto the path of violence, Musashi would later fight in the Battle of Osaka. Surviving this, he vowed to never duel again. Musashi fought a total of 60 duels and 6 battles. All of these duels represented the violent nature of Japan. He was never defeated in a duel, and he would publish his own book, the Book of Five Rings. This was his way of giving back to society. Musashi is quite unusual, as he is not like his Western counterparts. Unlike Beowulf and Odysseus, Musashi is not a noble. He was born a commoner and remained a commoner his whole life. He was born in a poor village and roamed the land with nothing but the clothes he was wearing and the swords on his waistband. There was no woman in his life, and he did not have his own home. Because he roamed the land for most of his life, he was always dirty. This is unlike the nobles Odysseus and Beowulf, as they are always clean. This also marks a difference in their religious beliefs, as cleanliness is usually associated with holiness and purity. Both Beowulf and Odysseus believed in a higher power that they could rely on for help in battle. This symbolized the society they represented. Musashi, however, did not rely on a god for help, which is a direct parallel to the Japanese of the time. The Japanese did not rely on gods for help in battle. They thought that Christianity was ruining their culture and thus banned Christianity. This is very different from Western societies, as usually Western societies embrace the gods for help. Later on in 1905, Japan started fearing the Western societies. In order to quell this, the government published a book on Bushido, the Japanese version of chivalry. The main protagonist in this book was Musashi. He became a figure that all the people would want to be like. They wanted to be strong and undefeatable in battle, and all in all, Musashi, 200 years after his death, will give the Japanese the inspiration and confidence they needed to defeat the Russians.